And a good evening to you, rugby fans. Welcome to the City by the Lake, Chicago, Illinois. It is a beautiful night for rugby here at Stagg Field at the University of Chicago, where the hometown University of Chicago Maroons take on the crosstown Illinois Chicago Dragons. What a game of rugby we have in store for you this evening. I'm John Broker, and I'm joined by rugby's premier polymath, Pat Clifton. Pat Clifton, great game coming up.
We got another great derby tonight as we've got the bragging rights in the city of Broad Shoulders on the table, as well as Great Waters Rugby Conference momentum and supremacy going into the conference playoffs next weekend. We've got number 13 in Division II, Illinois Chicago Dragons, going up against number 2 small college, the University of Chicago Maroons. Both of these teams undefeated. The Maroons haven't conceded a single point all season. It should be a cracker tonight. Let's see if the Dragons can penetrate that defense for the first time.
We are going to see some great rugby indeed, and let's talk some lineups first for the Illinois Chicago Dragons. Coached by Nora Benamar, bringing a strong team cross town, known for their power, known for just their good attacking rugby and just straight up and down. Pat, let's talk about some key players on this Dragons team.
Absolutely. The person who moves the ball from one of those power runners to the next is Lauren Hennick, the scrum half. She has great field vision. She is all over the pitch, very aggressive. She played high school rugby, one of the more experienced players for the Dragons. And then also a rookie flank, Caitlin Rowmaker. She's an ordained minister. She scored 2 tries in her first ever rugby match, 5 on the season. Very aggressive. Look for her tonight at number 6. And then the center pairing of Khadijah Mohammed and Lori Liberius are very, very potent for the Dragons in the backfield.
And the Dragons are 2-0, beat DePaul and Loyola. Let's talk about the University of Chicago Maroons, coached by Nora McConnell Johnson. They bring a strong squad here. Players talk about the passion that this team has. Most of them didn't play in high school, picked it up, but their captains say they go at 100% in practice and 110% in the games. They're really looking to have some fun out here. As you said, they have a strong defense, Pat. Great players to watch across this team, and I will tell you about a couple of them. First, captain number 8, Elsa Attile. Elsa Attile, just a strong runner from number 8, one of the more experienced players in the team, really leads by example and leads with that power, hard to take down, always making some room. Look for her to have a lot of carries tonight. Other captain, number 9, scrum half Vera Soloview Jackson, very impressive player, fast feet, really keeps things moving with his team, not afraid to take on the defense with some sniping runs, keeps them very honest, so keep an eye out for her and keeping the team moving. At number 13, Grace Hogue. Grace is on the outside center position. She keeps the offense and defense in the wide channels moving. She marshals that defense, makes sure the wide attack doesn't come through, and gets the ball into the spaces. They're 3-0 in the season, beat DePaul and Loyola, same 2 teams as the Dragons, as well as a forfeit to Illinois State. Those are your teams. This is National Collegiate Rugby, Friday Night Rugby. We're almost ready for a great game. What a beautiful night here, Pat. It is warm. It's been cold for a couple days, but we have a warm day here at Stagg Field. And you're going to see from right to left on your screen, that is the University of Chicago. And the Dragons are coming from left to right in the red. It's University of Chicago in the red. Coming from left to right of your screen, and the Illinois Chicago Dragons in the black on the right of your screen. Just had to sort that one up. Had some early jerseys that gave us a little mistake there, but here come the Maroons on the run immediately. Little attack off the fringe right there. There's a scrum half, Soloview Jackson. We spoke about her in the pregame. Keep an eye on her. Very strong for this team. Attempted a pick there, but the ball comes back down. We are underway here at Stagg Field. Big carry by Attile. She's stopped but able to offload it. They're right at midfield, immediately on the attack. Have forwards off to the left. They're going to come out to the right here. Ball goes in behind. Difficult ball for Flo Lee to take on, but taken up and around the corner at their own 30. Look at the Jets. One player to beat, and across they go. We talked about Grace Hogue, and we're seeing Grace Hogue. Grace Hogue, the sophomore from Walton Hills, Ohio, is going to touchdown our first try on Friday Night Rugby. She's a happy player. We're some happy commentators, Pat. What a start to this game.
A very lightning quick start to the game here for the University of Chicago Maroons. The Dragons had a lot of line speed here in defense, maybe a little bit too over-aggressive. It wasn't good handling from the Maroons, but that the Illinois Chicago defense was a little too broken, not quite aligned enough, even with the aggression. And as you saw, the 13 took it and carved them like a hot knife through butter.
Great work, 5-0 right away.
We already have the kick.
They will be ready to go again, I am sure. That is quite a good start for them.
Kick is good. Yeah, we had it. Yeah, kick was good.
And it is 7-0. The kick was good. It happened during our replay there, Pat. So we're ready to go again. You see a happy Grace Hogue. She would like to touch a couple more of those down, but look for her to open up the outside as well.
Talking to Illinois Chicago head coach Nora Benamar before the game. She told me that the Maroons typically are a little bit better out wide. They have usually a little bit more dynamic running out wide, and we've seen that early on, whereas the Dragons usually dominate in this rivalry up the middle with their forwards. So far, very early on, this game is true to form.
Big run from Chicago. University of Chicago player bumps off one, but it's ripped away by the Dragons. Dragons on the move here. Player taken to the ground. Good possession. First possession for them. They want to answer quickly. Lauren Hennick, number 9 in scrum half, puts that back in. They wind up in exactly the place that they just were. Ball is going to come back over the player who was rucking it originally. Lauren Hennick gets it back again. Lauren Hennick has to take it into contact. Got a player trying to ruck over there. Referee has an eye on this one. Got a tussle for the ball on the ground there. Illinois Chicago trying to work this one. Hennick able to get that one away. They're going to keep it tight again. Big hits coming in from the Maroon. Off they go. That's Yesenia Garcia gets taken to the ground. Able to recycle it again. Looking for a little width on the ball this time. Ball gets out to Savitsky. Savitsky moves it into the midfield. Try a setup play there from Lori Liberius. Liberius well tackled by this defense. Defense a little narrow for University of Chicago. They're probably expecting a lot of those forward runs. Leaving just a little of the width open here. You can see the ball moves out there now into the hands of Liberius. She moves it wide. Good tackle from Chicago. And a waiting pot of forwards there get ahead of steam. And once again, the forward train starts rolling early on here. Just 4 minutes into this contest. Looking to move a little wider this time. That's Romaker. Caitlin Romaker. As mentioned by my partner, is one of the runners they're looking for. Liberius comes straight up the middle. Can't find some room. But they're going to be able to recycle this one. And Hennick moves it again. Here's some of the Dragons' power. That's Apolinar. Apolinar, the senior from Chicago. The ball's taken away by the captain, Attile. Gets it up quickly. Will the speed of Chicago work for them now? Alex Lando took that one in. Soloview Jackson finds a waiting forward pod there. We have a penalty advantage against the Dragons. Referee is going to whistle that. First penalty of the game against the Dragons, Pat, for an offsides.
Yeah, surprised we've seen this many phases, this much continuity with no penalties so far. Pretty clean game for both teams.
Sage Rossman takes that one up. Sage Rossman was senior from Point Reyes, California, to Branson High School. Now they work the ball up to the captain, Attile. True to form, she has taken some runners with her. Soloview Jackson gets the ball up in the hands to Julia Fennell. Nell gets it to the ground. Good work there by Hennick to try to get in and dig that one away, and has done. Scrum half dangerous around the contact area early. Not afraid to go in and dig herself. A little pick and go off the back comes from the Dragons. Dragons there to Romaker again. Another pick off the back. Tackle comes in from Rossman. Stolen away this time by Soloview Jackson. We have two very nifty scrum halves. We're going to have to watch them through the game. It's going to develop into quite a battle, I'm sure, as Alex Lando takes the ball across midfield. Soloview Jackson sizing up her options. She's going to go to Rossman. Rossman sport prior to rugby was MMA, so certainly comfortable with the contact. Big break here from that outside center. She's gone again is Grace Hogue. Grace Hogue gets by another. She's got one to beat. She hands her off. She's headed for the line. It's 6 minutes. It's 2 tries for Grace Hogue, and Chicago, the University of Chicago, surges ahead with a second try here at National Collegiate Rugby's Friday Night Rugby.
Great stuff from the Maroons, just body blow after body blow, some really heavy, strong carries in the forwards, and they eventually pitch it out to Grace Hogue, who finds another line, another gap in a perforated Dragon defense. If you look at Illinois-Chicago here, there's some aggression coming up, but not a lot of connection between these teams. 3 girls going for the tackle, falling down. Grace Hogue fighting off, looks like 5 different Dragon defenders. So an impressive performance individual by her, but the Dragon team has to come up in a line a little flatter and a little bit more connected if they want to stop a tough runner like Grace Hogue.
Great run there by Hogue. As we wait for the team to come back up, we're at 12-0 Chicago over the Dragons here at Stagg Field. They're ready to go again. Hennick is the kicker for the team. Hennick, the sophomore from Chicago, went to Taft High School, played for the Taft Eagles. Her high school team. You can see her rugby knowledge certainly working around the breakdown area there for her. And we're underway again, very deep in Chicago as Atile takes that one. Atile makes a few meters. Ball down to Soloview Jackson. Vera Soloview Jackson has a waiting forward coming in Madeline Hopper. Hopper, the sophomore from Washington, D.C. Sociology major. Atile plays in the distributor position. Big hard run coming in from Sage Rossman. Rossman hands the ball off there to Lando. Lando from West Orange, New Jersey, makes a bit of ground. Tough ball there for Hugh to hang on to, but she does. Now the ball is out wide into the hands of Flo Lee. Flo Lee just leaves it behind her there a bit. The referee says that's cool. Ball went back. Gabriela Rivera gets a touch. Nice little pick here. That space is opening up for the team as Sage Rossman gets it, and back to Hopper. Hopper is taking the direct route right around there. Illinois Chicago Dragons are going to want to shore up that fringe defense. Has a little interesting cross kick comes in from the scrum half position, but it doesn't look like it's going to come to anything there. So it'll be a line out here for the Illinois Chicago Dragons, Pat.
Yeah, that was definitely an aggressive move from Vera Soloview Jackson with the cross kick. I loved it. She wanted to get the ball wide, and she wanted to do it very quickly. It just wasn't quite accurate enough. Listen, this is the Windy City, and it is a windy night. You can see it. The gust coming right there, the touch flag. You can see it in the leaves coming across the pitch. Windy night in the Windy City. You might need to rein it a little bit for Soloview Jackson, but I love the gusto of that play.
Yeah, I love the intent. Her player on the wing was up a little flatter. It might have gotten a little more purchase on it, but great take there by Klemecki. Cyrus Klemecki gets that one down, and now on the attack are the Dragons. Great footwork coming in from Liberius. Liberius, the grad student from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, gets that one back, and Apolinar takes it to the ground. A little sideways run coming here from Hennick. She's around the corner. Let's see what Hennick has. Hennick is running out of room, has some tacklers on her. Very proud defense here for this Maroons team as they have to dig this one out, and a little pick and go from Savitsky, Kaylee Savitsky. Their fly half takes that one. Hennick letting the team know she's going to put this one out wide. Has some waiting forwards there. The power of Yesenia Garcia. Yesenia Garcia, psychology and pre-occupational therapy major. Hennick, little basketball throw that time. We're going to come back here for a penalty against the Dragons for an offsides. And just about 20 meters out from the line, an opportunity here for the Dragons, Pat.
I think Hugh might have been just a little over-aggressive in the breakdown. Got pinged for coming in from an offside angle. The Dragons are going to run it. They're going to give it to Rowmaker, the rookie. 5 tries on the season.
Minister Rowmaker takes that one in and is going to recycle this ball. Hennick right on it. Ball comes up to Tasha Rubio. Rubio, the senior from Paw Paw, Illinois. Truly wanted to say Paw Paw. Ball out now into the hands of Savitsky. And a good drive from the Dragons. Player gets up. Was she held? Yes, she was. Referee right on the spot. Says the player can't do that. We're going to come back for a penalty for the University of Chicago. And they thwarted a very, very powerful attack from the Dragons there, Pat.
That was outside center Khadijah Muhammad. She's a rookie. She's a very talented athlete, but maybe just not quite educated enough on the rules there in her first season.
Dragons take that kick from the penalty. Chicago almost was able to regather it, but another attack on the cards here. About 30 meters out this time. Hennick finds a runner. They're going to go a little wider with that one. Savitsky just working there to get the ball into Liberius, the strong runner's hands. And Liberius, she shows her acceleration. Atile shows her tackling ability, of course. The captain of number 8 for Chicago. Now attacking off the fringes come the Dragons. Have another set of players. Savitsky moves it just a little wider this time, not making too much ground. Counter ruck not going to happen this time as they move the ball out wide. Player running just a bit sideways is Apolinar, but she has a player with her. They're running close to the touchline. That ball went very forward. But we're going to come back there for the penalty offsides against Chicago. Another opportunity here for the Dragons.
I'm really impressed by the offensive continuity by both of these teams. We spoke to the coaches before this game. Both of them said they have a lot of new players that did not play rugby in high school. You can tell these are very well-coached programs. Of course, University of Chicago defending 7 national champions in small college.
Rowmaker takes that one in. She is a certain target to run for the Dragons. Right up the middle they come through Yesenia Garcia. Yesenia Garcia able to recycle that one. Hennick with a good move out there. Ball up in the hands of Liberius. She's caught this time. Player looking to juke a little bit there. Hennick. They're going to need another distributor to come in there. Chicago player. Good job rolling away from that one. Good contact coming in. Looked like it might have slipped forward, but referee in a better spot than I am. Hennick looking for runners. And certainly finds them right there. But a big double tackle from the University of Chicago. Holds them up. Still on the attack, able to maintain here. Hennick moves that one out. Powerful run as usual early in this game from the Dragons. Hennick moves it to a player who's a bit isolated out there. Was Eileen Casares. Get the ball up into the hands of Piper Howard. Piper Howard nearly held up by one of the Chicago players. Chicago player indeed stripped that one away. That was Soloview Jackson. Soloview Jackson, the senior from Anchorage, Alaska, went to Roberts Service High School. Gets it turned away this time by the other number 9, and here comes Hennick. Hennick headed for the line, but can't quite get there. Referee, however, spots that they were at the line. Try awarded. 5 points for the Dragons. Changes things a little bit here, Pat.
Lauren Hennick, when they said that she is all over the place, they literally meant she is all over the place. She is doing everything. She's drawing a ton of attention from the Maroons defense around the breakdown, opening up holes for her teammates. And even when there isn't a hole for her, she squeaks through somehow and makes a line break. Really impressive play by her to marshal around the Dragon attack there and punch back in this game. And we've got a real battle here in the Great Waters Rugby Conference pseudo-championship match going into the playoffs this weekend.
We certainly do, and I'm enjoying these scrum halves. They are making their teams faster, Pat. They're really making them work. Let's take a look at it again.
This is Hennick. Her team had just been turned over in the breakdown, and then she turns them over one phase later and decides she's going to go on a little rumble, shirk off one tackler, go into the ruck, get it recycled, and score the try. I mean, impressive play by her.
That's a turnover first by the Chicago scrum half, then by the Dragon scrum half. Winds up in a score there. So with 12-5, Chicago lead the Dragons here. Just about 16 minutes into this first half of National Collegiate Friday night matchup here at Stagg Field, beautiful University of Chicago. The referee is having a chat with a couple of the captains here. Let's see,
University of Chicago. Of course, the alma mater for Jay Berwanger, the first ever Heisman Trophy winner, who went on to play club rugby after he graduated from the University of Chicago. So there's a little nugget for you.
We have some football rugby history in these Friday night matchups. We had Walter Camp last week, not a Heisman winner, but football coach and former rugby player at Yale. But anyway, we're back to this game now, and it's exciting. Khadija Mohammed makes some good ground, and a little bit of momentum for them right now are the Dragons trying to dig that one out. Hennick gets a hold of it, finds a forward runner, gets that ball back quickly. I believe that was Lori Liberius. She was standing with a few forwards there, took it herself, found a nice seam. Ball comes back to Hennick, and it gets to the Rowmaker. She's got that hand out there, hard to tackle, have to get underneath that one. Ripped away, however, right on the spot is Soloview Jackson. This is the difference makers right now, being the scrum halves. Offensively and defensively at the moment, impressive play. Ball comes back, just a little pick and go there from the University of Chicago. Sizing up their options. They're going to look a little wider this time. They've gotten it there. Big tackles coming in, but she gets away again. Always going to make some room is Grace Hogue. Grace Hogue marked up, you can see by the defense there, but a nice break by Soloview Jackson. Soloview Jackson, if she sees a seam, she's going to go for it. She's able to get back up and maintain that ball. Right near the touchline they are. It's a second line out there. That's Elsa Attile. Attile offloads the ball to Sage Rossman. Rossman takes that one into contact and looking strong with the pick and goes here. Hands free was Hugh, but couldn't get that ball away. Nice footwork there from Sage Rossman. Forward pod, just a little wider this time. Big run coming in for Elaine Lowe. Haven't seen an awful lot of Lowe so far, ball in hand. She's been doing a lot of the hard work winning the rucks, but now the ball is out wide there in the danger runner's hands, but she's going to go to the wing, and the ball is in Sam Shelfo McGrath's hands. McGrath looking for the try line. McGrath hands it back there. I think she was in the try zone, but didn't quite get the ball down. Referee is right there on the spot, and try awarded to the University of Chicago. No try line to be seen there, but they were over the first time, they're over the second time, and Hugh from Marietta, Georgia, touches that one down.
Hugh, fantastic player. She was making a lot of impact there, deep in the defensive end for the Maroons. I thought the 13 was going to break through. Grace Hogue and score another try. She decided to share. There's a little bit of confusion here at the try line. The try line doesn't extend all the way to the touch line, so I think that the referees are having to give a little bit of a wide berth and take a lot of interpretation in terms of where that touch line is and whether or not it's a try. So if you see some reticence from the players as to whether they should be rucking or celebrating, I think that might be the issue there, at least out on the edges.
Out of Hugh there. We wait for the kick. They are just expecting a tee across the field. Tough angle here. That one is not going to have the distance, so we're going to be at 17-5 here. 20 minutes gone in this first half here at Stagg Field.
So far, the difference has been that Illinois-Chicago defense has not been able to defend the Maroons out wide. Every time they have gotten the ball out wide with just a little bit of space, they have taken it the distance. The Dragons not able to stretch that defensive line wide enough and keep it connected enough so far tonight. Let's see if they can correct that. They are doing great things on offense when they have the ball. They are going great distances. They've only been able to convert it into one try so far. If they can shore up their defense out wide, I like their chances to get right back in this.
Hennick gets us going again. Hennick a high one this time. It makes the 10 meters. Both these teams back a little further from that 10-meter line. Some opportunities there for him. Nice slicing run there by Soloview Jackson. She has one to beat and cannot quite get around. Players rolling away from Illinois Chicago, but had to be hands in there the way that came out. Certainly was. It's going to be a penalty here for University of Chicago, and Atile ball in hand. Hands it over to her captain partner, Vera Soloview Jackson.
Rookie mistake there from
underway.
Khadijah Muhammad.
Certainly happens. The ball comes out to Madeline Hopper. Madeline Hopper, 20-year-old. Set one in. They've got a pod off to the weak side here that they're going to use. Are they going to be able to stay in field? Assistant referee right on the spot. Soloview Jackson has some runners. It's working that ball out. Do find them. A little step to the side. Player is still free there. That's Elaine Lowe. Lowe, the grad student from Shanghai. Ball to Grace Hogue. Referee says went back. Grace Hogue, we know she's got the footwork. Grace Hogue can notch down a third, and a hat trick is on the cards for Grace Hogue. Great try. Have a ball just a little bit behind her, and everything looking bright for their outside center.
She is a lightning runner. When she gets the ball, she is going to punish you, especially in space. This time, there were a couple of Dragon forwards isolated out wide. And with the fast feet of Grace Hogue, you don't stand much of a chance. If you've got a low number on your back with a lot of space around you, here she is, just takes it out wide where the big, tall forwards for the Dragons just cannot keep up. Dots down her third try. Great performance early on already from Grace Hogue.
Hogue was the captain of her high school varsity soccer team, so certainly team sports in her blood. And 3 tries under her belt here on a beautiful Friday night.
Illinois Chicago really got to bring their tackles down. Some of the hard-charging carriers for the Maroons, like Madeline Hopper, did some damage there. Too many tacklers making contact up high. Good general rule is you want to hit the shoulders and make contact under the ball, at least under the ball. But if not that, go to the lower, take it a step further, hit the lower limbs. You want your shoulders hitting thighs, tying knees together and bringing them down. That Dragon tackling, especially deep in their own end, needs to come a little bit lower against the likes of Hopper.
Hennick to get us going yet again. A little longer this time, right into the waiting hands of Julia Fennell, the junior from Pittsburgh. Played on the 2022 Illinois Collegiate All-Star 15s team. Pot of forwards waiting right there. Big hit comes flying in from the Dragons. Alex Lando got a tough challenge there. She's all right and back up as Atile gets past one. They're hanging on to her. It always takes more. Soloview Jackson gets the ball out to Hugh. Now they move it out to the midfield. Hogue, the try scorer, has to get that one back to Flo Lee. Good work there by Elaine Lowe, taking her time, getting to the ground, making sure her support was there. Soloview Jackson, another waiting pot of forwards there. Step back in this time from Lowe. Players are right over to take care of that one. Ball up into the hands of Hopper, across midfield. Player digging their hands in there from Illinois Chicago. Just a little illegally for Kayla McGraw. It's going to be a penalty here, and it looks like they may go quick. They're going to set up a set play. Ball up in the hands of Sage Rossman, as she has made some good hard yards so far in this game. 15 minutes to go in this first half. Time flies by while both of these teams are playing exciting ball-in-hand rugby. Flo Lee puts that one up into the hands of Shelfo McGrath. She gets tackled. Hogue has to come in and play the distributor, but she's going to find a seam around the end. Is she going to get 4? She's looking at it, and there goes Grace Hogue. Unnoticed Grace Hogue. 4 tries in 25 minutes, Pat.
Impressive vision from Hogue. She's looking like Red Grange out here, scoring every time she touches the ball. And this time it was a little bit different. She picked it up from the base of the ruck, This is a really heady play, especially for a crossover, somebody who's played a little bit more soccer, new to the game of rugby, sees some space, not a lot of it there on the weak side wing, attacks it, and when she gets 3 or 4 or 5 steps, she's really tough to bring down.
He is certainly a talent on this team, and their ability to get the ball to her in some space is pretty good. She got brought down and had to pick that one up, but a very strong runner. So you see Shelfo McGrath go to the ground, and Hogue just spots that around the side and is able to use that footwork, gets by one, has a couple of players trying to track back there. Piper Howard not going to be able to make the tackle, and 4 for Hogue. What a showing so far.
She did it against Khadijah Muhammad over there. That's the person she wrong-footed on the weak side of that ruck. And Muhammad is an impressive defender, impressive athlete. Already seen her make a couple of positive great tackles tonight. So she's doing it against good talent, that's for sure. I think it's got to be said and mentioned again here tonight. The University of Chicago has not conceded a single point all season until the Illinois Chicago Dragons punched one in already. So, the Dragons, when they have possession, they are very potent. They just need to hold on to it and play in the attacking end. The fact that they scored against the Maroons, they've done something that 3 other teams already could not do this season. So they've got a lot to build on here for the Dragons.
Hennick chips one, chases onto it, but well taken there by Fennell. Ball up to Hopper. Front row connection there, but knocked on. So we're going to have a scrum here for Illinois Chicago, and scrums have been a little uncommon in this game, Pat.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many of them. Really good handling tonight so far. I'm looking at Laura Hennick, and the last 3 restarts, she has attempted to kick the ball to herself. The first time she almost got it. The next 2, it was well taken by Julia Fennell. I wonder if she doesn't want to take this ball in her hands off the base of this ruck and see what she can do herself.
Two very fast-moving scrum halves there. A tight head, a rarity. A referee is going to bring that one up. And I thought that was a pretty clean strike from Chicago there, Pat. Thought they should have won that ball.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. A little bit of a bailout from the referee. Feeling fortunate if I'm the Dragons, but this is some of the best attacking platform in terms of a set piece that they've had all night.
That one comes back to Hennick, a little unclean, but she's going to take it herself, never afraid to find some space. As she again, she gets by Hogue, and Hogue redoubles her efforts and gets back there, gets her to ground. Makes a second tackle as well. That's on Klemecki, the number 8. Stolen away this time by Chicago. That's low. Nice pick up and go here from Soloview Jackson. She's around Muhammad, looking for a runner. Just puts that one back there right at the touchline there. Good driving tackle from the Dragons. Assistant referee right on the spot. They're able to keep this one in field. Little pick there from Chandler. Olivia Chandler, the first-year player from Sudbury, Mass. Later Rugby.
Laura Hennick is an absolute tackling machine for the Illinois Chicago Dragons. I think she's a little frustrated. She gained about 40 meters on offense and her team turned it over. She's taking her frustrations out on the Maroons here, making every single tackle low, under the balls, shoulder on thighs, ties the knees together, and kept her legs driving. Lauren Hennick is putting on an offensive and defensive clinic tonight.
Here's another cross kick. That one looked like it was knocked forward, but we are fine to go, says the referee. And who else would have the ball in hand with a long run coming? But number 13, Grace Hogue, she's taken down that time. Player from the Dragons kind of come in and poach it, but able to clean it up. Soloview Jackson looking for a runner. She might want to move this pretty quickly and does. Sage Rossman, neuroscience and biology major. Now the ball's up there to Hopper. Hopper, sociology major. Went to National Cathedral School in D.C. Nice pick and go there from the winger. They're keeping the ball alive. Good work by Tia DeWolf. Soloview Jackson. Soloview Jackson finds it. Soloview Jackson touches down another try. And the Chicago Maroons keep rolling on here at Stagg Field.
It was a really heady play by Tia DeWolf. She first arrived at the ruck. A defensive player didn't arrive at the ruck and bind on, which means that she's still completely legal and free and available to grab that ball. That's what she did. She gashed the Dragons up the sideline and created all the space, took away all the defenders, and then Soloview Jackson had the easy 4 or 5 steps she had to make, dot it down, make sure she's just across that non-existent line, and she did just that. Maroons are starting to pull away here.
Great work by that sophomore from Saratoga Springs, New York. Beautiful part of the world, Tia DeWolf. We take a look at the kicker, Soloview Jackson, unable to connect that one.
I love that. Soloview Jackson from Anchorage, Alaska, connecting with the player from Saratoga Springs. Coast to coast for the University of Chicago Maroons. Great recruiting.
Certainly are. You know, they have Massachusetts, D.C. They certainly have the coast-to-coast players. And don't forget Shanghai. Hennick, ready to get us going again. 32-5 score is Illinois-Chicago Dragons. Looking for some more points before halftime. About 33 minutes gone here. Hasn't been much stoppage time. So it's about 7 minutes to go.
I really think the Dragons unfortunate to be down this much. I think the Maroons got away with a little bit of a knock-on that last try. If they can get a little momentum before the halftime, this could really become a game, I think.
Nice break there again. They are just finding those seams. Nice step coming in from Sage Rossman, and Sage Rossman is going to find the try zone, and University of Chicago cannot be stopped at the moment. What a spot there from Rossman just to see that space and break on through. A tremendous play there for the University of Chicago as they extend their lead late in this first half.
It's like Sage Rossman heard me trying to speak a comeback from the Dragons into existence and said, I'm going to shut that commentator up. She just punches straight through the defensive line for Illinois Chicago and then bowls over the fullback, dots it right under the post. Impressive performance here from the Maroons.
This Chicago team, I mean, they just have players, those smart players around the ruck and their forwards who spot that space and they, really can make a break and really find some space. And then you have the threat out wide of getting the ball to Grace Hogue and Tia DeWolf, the impressive play by their, Shefflin McGrath there. And some of these players have been great out wide. So they have threats across the field, very smart players, unafraid to take it on their own. Rest of the players getting there. Good work here by the University of Chicago so far. As we're 5.5 minutes to go, Hennick is ready to go. The kick was no good, 37-5. As we roll on Friday Night Rugby, National Collegiate Rugby. Hennick gets that one up to Atile. Atile gets through a couple, gets across midfield, eventually hauled down. Soloview Jackson, like her opponent, very quick off the back there, ready to punish the defense as needed. Ball to the ground from Hopper. Ball ripped away, however, by the opposing scrum half. There's Hennick. And big collisions coming in around the breakdown. Pick and go. Big hit on Kai Stellhorn. Number 7 there from Illinois Chicago. Taken on the ground, but they're able to recycle. Chicago looking to break away and have done. Another smart run from Tia DeWolf, the Albany Academy graduate. Players in agreement. They should go wide with this one, and they have done. Ball's out into the danger runner, Hogue. She gets it wide, gets it to number 11. That's Sam Shelfo McGrath, but she gets taken to the ground. Nearly ripped away by one of the Dragons players. We had a knock on there, so we're going to have a scrum here for the Dragons yet again.
Oh, just wondering if she should ever pass the ball again, I think. Unfortunately, her teammate, she trusted her, gave it to her. She couldn't quite hold on to it in contact. But Hogue is gashing this team all over the place. Hope the injured player is okay here as everybody's taking a knee.
And Shuffle McGrath just down there for a second, it looks like. He seems to be okay. We're going to get back in action here at Stag Field.
Both these teams looking ahead to the Great Waters Rugby Conference playoffs next week in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. They both play towards the conference championship and then diverge in the postseason. University of Chicago plays towards the small college championship. They're the defending Sevens national champions in that division. And the Dragons play towards a Division II national title.
And it gets that one in. Big drive from Chicago. Atile off the back. She's got some room down the left. She hands off one, hands off another. She's got her opposite number to beat and does try awarded. That is tremendous individual work there after a great scrum from Elsa Atile, the computer science major from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
These Maroons are bloodthirsty, relentless. They're not letting up one iota. Stealing this scrum against the head. Impressive push. We haven't seen a lot of scrums tonight, but that was a big one by the Maroons. And Atile, very dynamic off the breakdown or off the back of that scrum. Bounces off a big hit from Muhammad. And her opposite, just not enough to bring her down.
Yeah, Klemecki couldn't quite get there. Just had a little pace on her. We wait for the kick. Player's going to go for the drop kick.
Just a 6-point game last season. These two teams played last fall as 31-25 going to the Maroons. This one a lot more heavily still going to the Maroons.
42-5, a good first half score for them. Just over 2 minutes ago, we look at the try scorer there. Elsa Atile played for Osseo Senior High School. The rugby team there, Great Waters All-Star in sevens. Illinois Collegiate All-Star, U23 Thunderbirds player. Certainly making her abilities known to the rugby world here.
Vera Soloview-Jackson is getting a lot of attention for what she's doing on offense, but she has turned over this Dragon team in the breakdown several times from the number 9 position. I think that is making a huge difference. Hennick is the only one who's able to turn the ball over consistently for the Dragons, whereas on this Maroon side, you got Soloview-Jackson, you've got Lando, you've got several different players going for that ball at the breakdown and coming away with it.
Hennick, again with the short kick. Again, Fennel, happy to take that one forward. Kaylee Savitsky to come in and make the tackle that time. Fly half, sophomore from Chicago. Went to Northside College Prep. Good power run there from one of the Chicago forwards. Certainly put that little extra oomph into their contact. Gaining a little bit of yardage. The ball comes up to Madeline Hopper. Hopper pushes off one. Hopper is getting hauled towards the touchline and eventually into touch as we're about, I was going to say 30 seconds to go, but that's halftime here at Stag Field, University of Chicago. It's 42-5 at the end of the first half. Pat Clifton, final thoughts.
Chicago, a lot of positives to talk about, but they got to shore up that defense out wide and find an answer for Grace Hogue.
3 is a hat trick, 4 is a haul. That's where Grace Hogue is. We're going to step aside for a halftime. We're going to bring you more Friday Night Rugby from National Collegiate Rugby after this.
In our game, We play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
It was very impressive. That was a very good skill set.
Colonial Coast to put this one in. No jump, no lift, but it finally comes down there. Colonial Coast, that's Melissa Drexler. She scored a couple today. Banks is going to sleep well tonight because she has done so much work and she has a little bit more to add to it. She has one person chasing her down, but Kaylee Middaugh is not going to see Ciano. Big break down the left-hand side across the 40-meter line. Player hauled down, gets it up in the hands of Keenan Nichols. Keenan Nichols offloads that one. On that far corner of the field they go. They have runners across. They're inside the 22. Still working hard and great work. A good connection there. And the try line is available. And
actually, that is Eden Liebenthal with the cover tackle and the stop on Bloch. Otherwise, Bloch would have been away. Prairie State's doing their best to get outside. Vanderzee misses the tackle there. And Kaylee Middaugh sprints ahead.
Outside, Sharkey is not going to get the ball back because they are going to touch this one down under the post if they can. Well done, well deserved, well worked try. And it is Plotkin touching that one down. Hannah Plotkin from Shippensburg touches down a try here at Aviva Stadium in this small college champion. Runners, they get the ball out to Vanderzee. Vanderzee can't get through the defense that time. Ball is moved across by Minor. Now they are looking for some room out on the left-hand side, but Great Water is going to scoop that one up and go away, and breaking through right there is Claire Engman. Claire Engman evades Eden Liebenthal, and Claire.
Your hard work won't be in vain.
Izzy Robinson feeds that one off. A clear outside there for Nelson. She showed the in. She went to.
But good for them to give an attacking platform now for upstate New York.
It's 5 minutes sudden death in overtime, so they get to that. We have 10 seconds left in regulation on the clock here. Upstate New York is going to move that one. A little indecision there in the middle of the field. Need to make something happen. Ball out wide there. Here's a break around the corner. Could this be the end of the game? This may be if this player doesn't get hauled down. And what a great work that is. Dolce Mascalo, that gymnast from Colgate University, economics major from Reading, Connecticut, touches it down. Teammates are lifting her up, and it is 15-10 with no time on the clock. Upstate New York may be our third place Division I.
With a backflip like that she just did.
It's Jess Dolce Mascalo for the try.
Oh, goodness!
Wow. Here you see the 5-meter line. They're about 10 meters out from the line, and wasting no time is Chantel Mint, and Icky heads towards the corner there. Chantel Mint gets the ball to one of her waiting teammates. That's Taylon Russ. She's a player in front of her. She's going to battle her way to the try line, and she's going to for Grace Bryson from University of Minnesota. And tying the score up here is the senior to Mid-America. A little show there. Turning upfield, power running. Robinson moves it wide. They have some open space out here. The foot race is on, and a cover defender is working hard to get there, but it may not be enough as off goes this player from Mid-America. At Rugby. This is John Broker with Pat Clifton. We're going to look at some highlights from the first half. Early work here from the Maroons. Go ahead, Pat.
University of Chicago really trying to carry the ball forward, but Lauren Hennick, a monster all half in the offense and defense there.
Good work there by the scrum half. Soloview Jackson always finding the spot, as well as the other captain. We take a look at Elsa Attile scoring a try late in that half. Pat, really was all Chicago. And we are ready for kickoff here.
Illinois Chicago scoring the only try against the Maroons so far. That was the highlight of the first half for the Dragons. The first team to score against the Maroons all season.
Running from right to left on your screen is the Maroons. They are well in the lead. Little bobble ball there from the Illinois Chicago Dragons. We're going to have an early scrum here in this second half. It will go to University of Chicago. Pat, I believe this might be their first scrum of the game, offensive scrum.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. They were able to turn a defensive scrum into an offensive scrum there at the tail end of the first half, and it ended up in a score. Noticing a change here for the Dragons, and it's really a significant one. It is Lauren Hennick. It looks like she is out at scrum half, and fly half, Kaylee Savitsky, is bumped on down. But that is a massive, massive loss. Without a doubt, the best player in the first half for the Dragons.
Attile turns the corner. Soloview Jackson steps around a couple, gets the ball back to Attile. Little pick and go around the back from Alex Lando. Lando makes a couple of yards, able to recycle the ball. Another pick, that's Kimberly Carrillo. We haven't seen a lot of her ball in hand. Another forward in doing the hard work. Soloview Jackson gets that ball out in the hands of Hugh. Hugh steps, gets the ball in the centers to Rivera. Rivera gets the ball to Hogue. She gets a little shove. So right at midfield, they're going to lose some ground. Soloview Jackson spots some space around the right-hand side. Quick handoff from her. And Soloview Jackson looking for a runner outside. Going to have to hang on to this one as a quick pick and go from Flo Lee. Attile gets a ball to the ground. Cleanly for Soloview Jackson. Ball popped up there to Madeline Hopper. Hopper hands off a player. Hopper is headed towards the try line. Hopper barreling her way, just hands it off to a front row teammate, Julia Fennell. And that one rolls into touch. Going to be a line out here. I think it's going to be a Chicago line out.
Hennick is still on the field. It looks like she has moved to fullback for the Dragons. She's got her knee taped up now. That tape job happened at halftime. I don't know if it was tactical, if it has something to do with the tape job, but maybe they want her to make more cover tackles in the backfield because they could certainly use it, and she made a couple there as they're trying to punch it in on the right edge.
Going to be Dragons ball right 5 meters out from their own line. Player with a little step there. It gets the ball up into the hands of Klemecki. They knock that one back. It's in the try zone. The kick comes, and it is going to stay infield. Well fielded by University of Chicago. Big break coming around the side here. Looking for that line is none other than the first half star, Grace Hogue. So scores, touches down that try. Incredible work by the number 13.
Is that 5 or 6?
That's 5, Matt, and
trouble.
that's a glut. 3 is a hat trick.
It's a glut.
4 is a haul. 5 is a glut. Just if you need to know.
Is this in the John Broker dictionary of sporting scoring?
No. After this, we go to double hat tricks. We go to haul tricks. We go to double hauls, double gluts. It's a numbering system. As you can tell, I've called some pretty high-scoring games.
Yeah, well, she is. This is going to be definitely a high-scoring one because of Grace Hogue. I tell you, she got tackled right at the try line, and it was Hennick, and it might have been only the second or third time she's been brought down all night. Hennick just could not chase fast enough and get across early enough to stop her from getting across the line. But a valiant effort, and Hogue dotted it down well enough for number 5.
Does not convert her own kick. We're at 47-5. Chicago over the Illinois Chicago Dragons. Dragons coming back out just a few minutes into the second half. Plenty of time for them to put some more points on the board. Hennick will continue to take the kicks.
Get your heart out, Al Bundy, bragging about scoring 4 touchdowns in a high school football game. Catch you up out here with Grace Hogue scoring 5 tries. And I have a feeling she might get 6, 7, or 8 if they leave her on the field.
We'll see. Hennick gets it 10 meters. It's rolling towards a touch line. Excuse me. Well taken by Illinois Chicago, but player taken in a touch, so it should be a line out here for the University of Chicago. But it was knocked on according to the referee. We're going to come back for a scrum.
Illinois Chicago got to find something positive to build on here. If they could put some pressure on defensively, whether it's in the scrum or at the first phase here, get a turnover deep in this end, it could really do a lot for their momentum.
Soloview Jackson gets that one in. Savitsky putting some pressure on there. The kick downfield. Chicago has been trying to introduce a little more kicking into their game. The referee is going to bring us all the way back. It looks like we have an injured player. One of the Illinois Chicago players just down needing some treatment. Players back up. We're going to come back.
Not quite sure how we're going to start this one. It was a deep kick from the University of Chicago, and it looked like the Dragons were in counterattack. Oh, they had an offside, so there was an offside on the kick, and it's a big break for Chicago. I was just talking about how they could really use it.
They're going to get the ball going here again through Savitsky. Savitsky gets the ball back to one of our waiting forward runners. Walter Romaker, but ripped right away by Madeline Hopper, and Chicago on the move again. Hopper making some ground right at their own 40-meter line. A handoff there to a waiting forward group. Nice break again. This Sage Rossman, she's keeping her feet, keeping herself alive. She gets through 17 players out of 15 right now and still alive. Gets the ball away. Another run coming here as they get the ball into the center. That's Gabriela Rivera. Rivera bounce pass to Hogue. Hogue steps back in. Hogue around again. Hogue at the try line, and Hogue is in for another try. They had moved Hennick back there to cover some more defense for the team, but unable that time to stop Grace Hogue, who's on an absolute rampage.
Number 6, what's that one, John?
6 is once you get past that, we're at a double hat trick, Pat. It gets a little boring now. There's some other words, like four in Spanish soccer is a poker, right? So there's other words you can use there, but right now we're at a double hat trick for Grace Hogue at the moment.
I think it's a turkey plus 1 in bowling, something like that. 5-bagger, maybe? Well, Sage Rossman, really impressive run by her. She was the initial line break, a very sinewy, tough runner, a slight second row, but she broke through the defensive line for UIC early in the first half for a breakaway try, and she did it again there to set up Hogue for her 6th try. This Maroons team has weapons all over the field. I would not want to see them next weekend in Oshkosh, Wisconsin in the Great Waters Conference Championships, and I would not want to see her in the small college playoffs.
They are looking strong in Chicago. As Illinois, Chicago, the Dragons are working their way back out. Hennick normally takes the kicks. If she arrives, a ball in hand, referee is going to take time off for just a second here.
It's worth a reminder that the University of Chicago is ranked second in small college, and that Illinois Chicago, which is down by, check my math here, 47 points with over half an hour to play, is ranked 13th in Division II. That is how impressive this Maroons team is. Really, really impressive job by their head coach to get them to this point, especially coming out of COVID. I know that a lot of teams had to rebuild, and both of these teams are in that same mix, having to recruit a lot of new players. It's really impressive that the level of rugby we're seeing here.
We have a new kicker on the field for Illinois Chicago. It's Savitsky. That one goes further than the past ones have, and right up the middle they come. Here come the Maroons through Elaine Lowe. Lowe works that one down. Sullivan Jackson. It's a waiting pot of forwards. That's Hopper. Hopper just bouncing off players as she goes. Very steady look on her face, but you can tell she certainly enjoys that. Here they come again through Kimberly Carrillo. Carrillo, the junior from Atlanta, Georgia. Went to Meadow Creek High School. Out into the centers they go. Hogue one more time through. Hogue across. I'm running out of things to call tries at this point with Hogue, but we'll see where we go here. And Grace Hogue is in for her 7th. And Grace Hogue touches down as Chicago continues to keep this train a-rolling.
The Dragons moved Hennick to fullback at halftime, thinking that she could be the Band-Aid that would stop that leak out wide that was giving the Maroons the entire flooding points that they've had since the beginning. And that time she was just didn't have enough in the tank to bring down Hogue. Scored her impressive 7th try. I can recall Ryan Roundy for Brigham Young scoring 11 tries against Wyoming many years ago, and Grace Hogue is making a run for at least the Pat Clifton personal record of most tries in a game.
She's testing my knowledge because this is a Hall trick, I believe, Pat, because she had 4 plus 3, so hat trick plus the Hall for 4 gives you 7. After this, we're double Halls.
Weren't Hall tricks something from like a Harry Potter movie? I think you had to collect those or something to beat the bad guy.
Something like that. Hogue certainly adding to the score sheet here. In the record books at the University of Chicago, 7 so far. You said 30 minutes to go.
Jay Berwanger, who? When you think of the University of Chicago and you think rugby, you don't think the first ever Heisman Trophy winner. You think Grace Hogue.
Grace Hogue, absolutely. And just relentless as they continue. Sage Rossman has been a player getting go forward for the Chicago team all day. Nice little pick around the side. Sullivan Jackson always there to keep things speedy. Ball handed up there into the hands of Hugh. Hugh is going to step. Good tackle by the Dragons. Maintaining possession, however. Ball clear here. Back into the hands. One of the waiting forwards there, Madeline Hopper. Up to Carrillo. Carrillo has been that second carrier many times in their setup. A little wider they go this time. A nice kick. Pushing that in behind. Let's see who's going to come up with this. Comes back into the hands of Amber Takbas. But a penalty for a high tackle against the University of Chicago. And Illinois Chicago out of trouble for a second here, Pat.
Just get a little bit of a breather here if you're the Dragons. Collect your thoughts. They're going to try and run it out, though. Going to put themselves under quite a bit of pressure.
Off they come. Ball is held up there, but player gets to the ground eventually. That's Rowmaker. Powerful flanker for this Dragons team. The ball's been ripped away. Referee says that's fine. Taken by Hugh. Hugh gets that ball out. It's into the hands of a waiting winger there, and Shelfo McGrath She makes yardage as usual. Hasn't been the finisher as some of the other players have been. Soloview Jackson hauled over the touchline. Be a line out here deep in their own end for the Illinois Chicago Dragons.
I prematurely announced the substitution of Lauren Hennick off the field for the Dragons earlier when she had actually just moved to fullback, but I think she might actually be off at this point. And we hadn't seen them play offense without her until just a little touch there, and what we did see went backwards pretty quickly.
Joanna Apolinar to put this one in, the senior. Back of the yards, college prep. That one doesn't go straight. And Chicago, the opportunity here is going to take the scrum. I would expect to see an Elsa Attile break off the back.
Got to give some prop love to Madeline Hopper and Julia Fennell. Both have done fantastic tonight, both in the scrum and around the park. Fennell has been tested on restart after restart, and she has answered the bell every time. And Madeline Hopper, if I'm Rob Kane, the head coach of the women's national team, I'm getting Madeline Hopper's contact information. She has been a really strong carrier tonight for the Maroons.
Speaking of the USA women, they're going to play tomorrow, 10:55 Eastern, against Canada at the Rugby World Cup taking place in New Zealand. People can tune into that. Players here aspiring to that level. We take a look at Hugh. That first receiver spot, good scrum here. Ball to Attile. Attile, a little bobble there. Has to fend off Savitsky. Good defense. Soloview Jackson, however, is in and over the line. Soloview Jackson, AR is conferring, and a try is awarded. Another try for the University of Chicago, and that time the captain, Vera Soloview Jackson.
Soloview Jackson overshadowed a little bit by the play of Lauren Hennick, the other 9 from the other team, but she has been outstanding all night. The Alaskan doing her best Lev Kelter impersonation out here, getting the score. Backing herself on the edge, something that Lev Kelter has done a million times on the HSBC Sevens World Series. And this time she got rewarded. Not sure she was across the line, no line there quite on the edge, but she dotted it down before she lost it forward.
That one from Hugh pushes across the front. Chicago in what could only be called a commanding lead here, 62-5 with plenty of time to play.
Again, these two teams separated by just 6 points last year. Nice strong carry at the back of this scrum. That set up the whole play, drew in the defense. Soloview Jackson sees the corner, takes it. Am I in yet? Where's the line? I can't see it. I might be in. That shadow looks good enough. I'll put it down.
Got it on the ground there. Good work by Attile there to really pull around and draw on the flanker as well as the scrum half. Set up Soloview Jackson with just one player to beat, which she was happy to do. And the Dragons head back out. Another restart here at Stagg Field, University of Chicago campus. All picked up by Fennell. Fennell hands up to Attile. Attile offloads that one to the hard-running Rossman. The hard-running Rossman continues to do exactly what she came for. Gets the ball across midfield, and it's set up perfectly. Puts the defense on the back foot. Soloview Jackson gets the ball up to Carrillo. Again, just the second pod runner is Carrillo. Does a very good job of finding some space. They move the ball across field. It's in to Hoag's hands. Hoag tackled this time. Picked up by Soloview Jackson. Soloview Jackson looking for the outside. Soloview Jackson finds the outside. Eventually, she's hauled down. Soloview Jackson taken down by Olga Calderon, one of the replacements for the Dragons.
Soloview Jackson trying to go back to the same spot she was at last time, dotting down the try, but not enough room this time. They were able to bottle her up. Good tracking here by the Dragon defender. Maybe a little high in the challenge. I think Solvie Jackson wanted a high tackle, but didn't get it. Hopefully the tackler in this case is okay. She's the one who seems to be down.
Yeah, she is down at the moment. Solvie Jackson immediately concerned there, and Olga Calderon, the first-year nursing major from Chicago, played rugby at Golder College Prep. It's being attended to by the staff here at Stagg Field.
I hate to see this, especially in a score that's so lopsided. At some point, you just want to see everybody walk away with a smile on their face, or at the very least, without a limp.
Taking a nice shot of Rush Hospital right behind our field here at University of Chicago. Beautiful campus. Chicago Medicine Center, taking care of all the players. Player still being attended to here. All our medical staff takes a look. We'll take a look at some of the highlights of the game here. Pat.
Guess what? It's Grace Hogue finding some purchase out wide, crossing a whole bunch of white lines and putting the ball on the ground, as she's done 7 times tonight for the Maroons. This time she picks it up from the base of the ruck, skirts up the sideline, just past Khadijah Muhammad, escapes Lauren Hennick, and dots it down right in the center of the field. She has been dynamite tonight for the Maroons. Big tackle for Hennick. Hero of the first half for the Dragons. Can't get lost in this lopsided loss, how impressive she's been. As well, Solvie Jackson, one of her couple of scores tonight. She likes to put it down in the corner. This is the number 8, Elsa Atile. She's been abrasive and hard to bring down all night for the Maroons. Hugh has also been really, really good tonight. This is her spreading the ball out to Hogue. Hugh set up quite a few of her tries, and Hogue taking on Hennick right at the try line and dotting it down.
Got to be such a joy for Hugh to be able to just pass that ball out and know Hogue is there, as we're going to have the line out. Player has been attended to. Little handoff there. Solvie Jackson's going to move it out to Hugh. Hugh is going to move it in the middle of the field. A one-handed pass there from Rivera. They get the ball wide. That's Tia DeWolf. Tia DeWolf able to avoid a couple of tackles there. The ball ripped away by the Dragons. Dragons looking to get something back here, but scooped up immediately by Hopper. Hopper at the try line. Hopper over the try line. And another 5 points for the Maroons. They are continuing to tick up that scoreboard.
Madeline Hopper, another one of the impressive sophomores on this team. I can't wait to see what she turns into over the next couple of seasons. Powerful pick and go here. Taking on Liberius, who's been one of the biggest, heaviest tacklers for the Dragons all night. Bashing over, making sure she gets it down. Rewarded for a try. She has had a fantastic evening. Really impressed by Hopper.
Just about halfway through this first half, another Dragons player being attended to here as we're going to take this kick. Hugh steps up for this one. Hugh, the urban studies major from Wheeler High School, Marietta, Georgia. That one is no good. We're going to let this player get attended to before we get back in the action here. 67-5.
Hugh distributing the ball really well tonight at fly. She's been the one connecting Solvie Jackson out to Hogue. I knew the Maroons were going to be really good tonight, John, when I saw them rock up in the vintage cotton jerseys. The vintage collared, cotton heavy hoops. perfect for this fall Chicago weather. As the warm-ups, man, you got to be put together to rock those. So the Maroons, you look good, you feel good, and you play good, and they're doing it.
If those just had a regular red instead of the maroon, that would have been the first jersey that I ever played in. Putting myself back a few years with that. Beginning of my playing days with those heavy cotton jerseys. The heavier the better, we said, Pat. The heavier the better.
Unless it's raining.
For some reason, we thought when it was raining, it was just fine, too. As we look at Hugh, she is in a good mood there, as are the rest of the Maroon team. Illinois Chicago players, okay, so they're going to come back. It's going to be their kickoff. 60 minutes gone on the game clock. Halfway through the second half, but we have referees time. He will be the ultimate decision maker of this, as Savitsky comes up to kick.
Dragons, the first team all season to put any points on the Maroons earlier in this game. Eager to get a second one on the board for sure.
All bobbled by the Maroons. Chicago hands that one off to Hopper. A little bit of a longer range try if she wants to go for it this time, but she's going to keep those feet alive again. Players just do not go down right away for the University of Chicago. Keep their feet, wait for the team. Soloview Jackson finds a space off of that penalty. Soloview Jackson hauled down about 35 meters out. Gets that ball back up there, gets it back in the hands of Elaine Lowe. Elaine Lowe gets the ball to Rossman. Rossman offloads to Hugh. Hugh looking to get through one, gets it out there to Rivera. Rivera into contact. Atile, ball in hand. Atile looking for the try line. Atile is over and in, and Atile keeps the scores moving here for the University of Chicago here at Stagg Field.
If they gave out stickers for tries like they in college rugby, like they do for touchdowns in college football, they would be out of them. The University of Chicago tonight, just unbelievable. Atile earning, I can't keep track, third, fourth try of the night for her. Another powerful run.
I believe that's three for Atile. So
not relenting.
Hat trick for Atile. She's got a little ways to go.
I ran out of beads on my abacus, John.
Atile enjoying herself out there. Atile read through her superlatives so far. The senior enjoying the last year of rugby here at the University of Chicago. As the Dragons head back out for another kickoff, 72-5. Savitsky taking her time. 17 minutes on the game clock. Pushes this one long. Bounces behind the first line as Katie O'Donnell, one of the replacements for Chicago, is in the game. Ball up to Hopper. Has her hand up all the time for that ball. Happy to run. Another waiting forward pod there. They stack their players for the quick ruck. Taken down. Soloview Jackson moves it wide. They've got runners out there. Mishandled by Hogue. And Hogue with her first miscue of the game. Little knock on there, be a scrum for the Dragons.
Bit of a smirk on Hogue's face. I think she saw the path to try number 8 if she just caught the ball. Starting to see some of the subs roll on here for the Maroons.
Still intent on the faces of the Dragons here.
John, I've been waiting all night to say this name. Tallulah Gonski has checked in at blindside flanker for the University of Chicago.
It is a great name, Tallulah Gonski on the field. Gonski, the first-year player from Brooklyn, New York. Pick up there by the Dragons on the attack. Haven't had too many opportunities for it here. They're going to want to make the most of this. Is Romaker, the ordained minister from Lincoln, Illinois. Criminology and psychology major, takes that one forward. A penalty against Chicago. Savitsky is going to take this one quick. Moves it out to her number 8, Cyrus Klemecki, biology pre-med major from Villa Park, Illinois. And putting some phases here together, Savitsky takes it off the back. And the fill in for Hennick. Nice pick and go there by the Dragons. Atile on the tackle. Ball out into the hands of Catherine Zima, the junior from Burr Ridge, Illinois. Players pretty tight here. No guesses at what direction they're going to try to go. Klemecki, ball in hand again. She was the female middleweight champion of the Illinois Chicago Boxing Club. Tough customer for sure.
Great reach. Great reach.
Ripped out of the hands, and Chicago on the move again. That's Bella Mendoza. Mendoza in the game. A senior from Dallas, Texas. Bishop Lynch High School. Just started playing rugby this year. Atile hands off a couple of Atile at midfield. Soloview Jackson always on the spot. She wraps around the corner. Let's see what she can make of this. She steps around one more. She is near the touchline. They're trying to drag her out there and eventually have done. It'll be a line out here for the Illinois Dragons.
Couple of Illinois Dragons collide here in defense and take each other out of play as Soloview Jackson scooting up the sideline. And you see Muhammad just get taken out by her teammate, giving Soloview Jackson a little bit more purchase up the line. It was
good to see the Dragons players here. Just, you know, they're going to keep tackling. They're going to keep hitting it. They want to take something away from this game as Soloview Jackson being attended to now. Just a bit of a cramp, it looks like.
Going to take a look here at the last two tries for the University of Chicago. This is none other than Madeline Hopper punching over, taking a couple of Dragons with her across the line. The entire team cheered her on. Well rewarded. And now we got number 8. Elsa Atile going in for try number 3 for the Maroons. Also carrying several Dragons with her.
The Dragons take that line out inside their own zone. They're going to run. Put the ball into the hands of Ariana Cruz. Staying tight, keeping the ball with Guerrieri. Now Savitsky picks it up. Savitsky, big hit coming to her. That's Romaker. Romaker keeps her feet. It's for Klemecki to get there. Savitsky has a runner in tight there, and Joanna Apolinar. Balls come back. We have another Illinois Chicago player on the ground. The referee is saying, you really need to do something with this, and there they go. On the move, trying to keep play going. Klemecki picks it up. Klemecki with a tight pick and go. Ball to the ground. Chicago trying to drive us one, but Savitsky is in there. Savitsky comes off the back to a wall of maroon jerseyed defenders. Big pick there from Apolinar. She gets hit behind the line. Ball taken away by Atile. Atile has the ball, and it is a penalty advantage here for the Maroons. But they're going to keep moving. Referee's going to need to blow the whistle as they are very close to an injured player. But he's going to let them keep going here. Seismanek, who was a runner on that one. Hugh kicks that one through. We're going to come back here for a penalty right around the injury area, so we're going to hold off just for a second as another Dragons player is being attended to.
I was afraid the sir was choking on his whistle there for a second as they crept towards those guys on their knees taking care of that injured player. But I'll tell you what, this University of Chicago team, sign of an incredibly well-coached, mentally tough team. You are up 72-5. There's 12 minutes left. And you got Grace Hogue out here hitting like it is the Super Bowl, fourth quarter, and it's a tie ball game. It is an impressive, the way that these Maroons are hitting, they're tackling, trying to turn the ball over. Their focus is being kept. I don't know if it's the bright lights of Friday Night Rugby, if it's the rivalry, or if they are just so mentally tough that they cannot play a second of rugby without trying to get better. But it's really an impressive performance from them tonight.
Certainly is. When you're winning in a score like this, Pat, as you know, it's difficult to keep your shape and keep playing the rugby that your coaches want you to play. As you said, kind of everybody can just be picking the ball and going for it. But instead, they're keeping their structure, they're keeping their shape. It is certainly paying off for them. And as they move into those playoffs, as you said, headed to Oshkosh next week, they're gonna need to have that structure. They're gonna come up against some very, very solid teams on the way through. So it's been a good effort for them.
This was honestly a very competitive game early on. I mean, it was when Lauren Hennick was on the field for Illinois Chicago in the first half hour, they were able to do some things. She was able to find some holes around the breakdown. She was able to link up with some teammates. Khadijah Muhammad was doing fantastic. Liberius, I don't want her performance to get lost in this loss tonight, but Liberius has been fantastic in defense and attack at number 12 for the Dragons. They've got to find a way to recoup. They've got Hennick resting now and come back with a little bit of confidence next week in Oshkosh for these Great Waters Conference Championships.
Sylvie Jackson gets the ball to Elaine Lowe. Elaine Lowe is looking at the try line. Elaine Lowe spins around, keeps it up. Madeline Hopper looking for her third, I believe, but she's pushed back out. Madeline Hopper hands it away there to Lowe. Big wrestling match for the ball between the teams here. Majority of the Illinois Chicago Dragons team is in there. Referee sees the ball get to the ground and pick and go there, bumping her way around, looking for the try line and getting in. Is that Hopper? I believe so. Another try for the prop, and she is starting to shine and looking hoggish, if you wanted my thoughts about that, Pat.
The one-woman maul, Madeline Hopper, she is the one who started that first driving maul that collected just about every single dragon on the pitch. And then somehow she took the next ball. So she actually was the ball carrier that started both of these consecutive phases. The second one ending up in yet another try. Man, she is impressive. Her work rate is out of this world. I am so impressed by this Maroon team. I'm impressed by her. And Rob Kane, write her name down. Madeline Hopper, just a sophomore.
You could see her on the side of that maul, just, those balls going on the ground, talking to her teammates where they should put the ball, where they should go with it, and that she was there. Great communication before she picked it up and went with it. As the Dragons come back out, we're under 10 minutes on the game clock here. Another restart coming. 77-5 here on a beautiful Friday night in Chicago. Savitsky. The biology and environmental sciences major gets us underway again. Powerful run coming out as ever. Alex Perdue wearing number 16 in the game. Hopper turns the corner. Hopper has one player attached, able to get that ball away. Nice work, but they're in touch. Come back, it's going to be a line out here for the Dragons.
Hopper scored so many tries tonight, she thought she was a back, so she turned sideways and went for the corner. Connected to Gonski. Illinois Chicago
change the
giving
conversation from Grace Hogue.
That's right. Illinois Chicago giving a lot of space at the breakdown. they're starting about 5 yards back every time on defense. They've got to scoot up a little bit and stop giving the Maroons so much space on defense.
Klemecki pushes back a little bit of a messy one. It rolls in a touch. It'd be a line out here for the University of Chicago Maroons inside the Illinois-Chicago half. Illinois-Chicago backs may want to move back 10. There they are. Referee just getting them off onside. A little bit of a messy one comes down into the hands of Catherine Zima. Zima, the junior from Burr Ridge, Illinois, marketing major. Waiting pod, can't quite get that one, but Rowmaker will make a little bit of yardage there. Klemecki comes in. This may be turned over by Chicago if they can get the feet working, but Savitsky is going to get that one wide. It's going to get to Khadija Mohammed, the Chicago, Illinois, and Jamaica, New York player. Gets the ball wide in Melkor from Meechin College Prep. Gets that one back. Ball's in the hands of Liberius. Chicago working their way over that ball if they can. Savitsky trying to get that one in, but opposite number Hugh gets a hold of it. Hugh gets the ball to Lowe. Lowe keeps herself up, gives it back to Hugh. They're going to keep this one alive. Nice winding run there from Hugh. She showed it, but decided to go herself. She had Hopper. Hopper is going to come in and clean over that. On the move again. Successful phase. Solo view. Jackson, as every good scrum half, screaming to see who's going to come that way. Lowe able to keep her feet. Ball nearly ripped away by Liberius. Players digging away. Penalty for not releasing. Good job around the breakdown from this referee, Pat. Hasn't had an overwhelming number of penalties as the teams are pretty clean. He's calling a good game here as we get going quickly.
Definitely likes to let them play, which is something in the modern game that I really like to see. You can often now see referees try and take over the game and impress their personality on it, but here tonight he's letting them play, and they're the stars of the show.
Doing a wonderful job. As that ball comes out the back there, Chandler drives her way forward. There's Hopper. Hopper getting driven towards the touchline. Gets that ball down. Soloview Jackson moves that one. Looking to move this ball in the middle of the field. They've got the ball to Hogue. Hogue has the attention of two defenders. Not going to get through that time. Little pick off the back there. Pick from Hugh. Hugh makes some ground. Ball ripped away by the Dragons. Dragons opportunity on offense here. Big pick from Klemecki. Klemecki gets that one turned over. Illegally, however, and it's going to be a penalty against Chicago. Illinois Dragons, under 5 minutes to go here, are going to go quick. Referee says, you wanted to play, let's play. And off they go into the hands of Ariana Cruz. Looking for the turnover again. Chicago, no let up from this team, but it's picked up by the Dragons. Dragons on the move. Jasmine Melkor, one of the replacements. Savitsky digs. Players losing their feet here, but Savitsky's going to be able to hang on to that one. Gets it up to Rowmaker. Rowmaker inside their own half. The Dragons continue to battle. Get the ball up to Zima. Savitsky has to dig for that one. Gets it out to Liberius. Liberius from Highland Park High School in Fort Lauderdale. get some ground. Late surge here, 3 minutes on the clock. Referee's going to come back for a penalty against the University of Chicago. Or an offsides this time.
Picking up the penalty prior was Haley Zemanek, the junior reserve wing for the University of Chicago. She is from Cork, Ireland, went to high school in Shanghai, and tonight she is turning 20 while playing Friday Night Rugby and winning against her rival. Not a bad little start to your Wikipedia page for Haley Zemanek.
Yeah, Seismanek is, happy birthday. We have a player just getting attended to, or it looks like a Tile, just a bit of a cramp. We said we're under 3 minutes here.
You got more women's college rugby coming up next week on Friday Night Rugby. Got the Upstate New York Conference Championships. Should be an exciting, something to play for. Our first championship match on Friday Night Rugby, John.
Very excited for next week's match. I've been excited for all of them, but next week should be a lot of fun. Upstate New York producing some great teams and great players at the moment. TLA just getting attended to. In the foreground, Pat, we see one of those great old school rugby jerseys you were talking about.
Send me one. Anybody at the University of Chicago wants to make a little side cash, you can sell one of those maroon jerseys to Pat Clifton, P.O. Box, yada, 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 Kansas City, Missouri. Ship it on down.
We see St. Bonaventure team in there, the Upstate New York Championship next Friday night. Should be 8 o'clock Eastern. They're going to go quick. Savitsky not done yet. Savitsky gets a ball to the ground, and the tenacious defense of Chicago rears its head again, but illegally. It looks like Hogue dug her hands in there while she was still on the ground. Illegal movement there from the player. And they're going to go quick again. Savitsky gets a ball to Klemecki. Klemecki gets up ahead of steam. Klemecki on her opposite number. Atile. Atile makes the tackle. Little pick and go around the side there. Replacement player Leilani Arthurs. Arthurs, the junior from Evanston, Illinois. She was a guard and tackle on her middle school football team. Now playing rugby. Big run from Piper Howard. Piper Howard taking a few people to bring her down. As you see the 22 in the distance there. Player had the ball in hand, and Soloview Jackson came up and made the hit. Ball back to Savitsky. It hits the ground. We're going to penalty here against Chicago again. A little bit of discipline issues in these last couple of minutes here, Pat, for Chicago, and Dragons trying to take advantage of it.
Something to build on, some positivity to go home. They scored the first ever try this season against the Maroons. Hadn't conceded a point all season. Until the Dragons crossed the line earlier tonight, they're trying to do it for a second time.
Khadija Mohammed started out with a big run. Referee whistles and brings us back. Another penalty against Chicago. The player just getting up a little slowly for the Maroons. Referee says, just move yourself back there. Let's keep playing. Under a minute on the game clock here. Savitsky running for the line herself. Savitsky takes a big hit from Hogue. Hogue in no mood to let this team in the try zone again. Other ideas, however, for the Dragons as Arthurs works her way towards the line, eventually to the ground. Able to work that back to her teammates there. See a big pick and go coming in from, that's Zima. She's over the line, or not. Another big pick here, another player trying to come over the line, and that one's in. It looks like Piper Howard gets the try. A final say here for the Dragons. Piper Howard's a sophomore from Geneseo, Illinois. Touches down for 5 points right at the end of regulation.
It's a nice reward to take home for Piper Howard. Playing a full 80 minutes at loose head prop. That's not easy, especially not against the likes of Madeline Hopper and Julia Fennell. The outstanding props for the University of Chicago. Dragons can hang their hat They have scored the only 2 tries all season against this dominant Maroons defense.
That kick is no good, and our referee whistles us for the end of the contest here. University of Chicago, the Maroons, 77, and the Illinois Chicago Dragons, 10. Final thoughts, Pat Clifton.
Look out, Great Waters next week in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. The Maroons look hot, their tails are up, and they're coming for you.
We'll be back next week with the Upstate New York Championships for everybody at National Collegiate Rugby. For Mike Baker, for Nigel Baby Cakes Hill, for Ryan, the man with the rugby plan Ginty, and for Pat Clifton, I'm John Broker. We'll see you at the next rugby game.